While reading the 600-page behemoth of a comic book collection, one thought kept popping back into my head over and over again. This is the greatest comic book of all time. In May of 1984, the world was introduced to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Only a few months later, another talking animal made their comic book debut, Usagi Yojimbo. Usagi Yojimbo basically translates to rabbit bodyguard. The series follows Usagi Miyamoto, a rabbit ronin who wanders feudal Japan, maintaining his moral compass and his sense of honor in a world where these things are very scarce. Usagi first appeared in Albedo Anthropomorphics No. 2. He then got his own series in 1987 and was published by Fantagraphic Books until 1993, then Mirage until 1995, then it became a Dark Horse title from 96 through 2019, and then it was passed to IDW for a couple years, and then as of right now, Usagi Yojimbo has been back in the hands of Dark Horse since 2023. Usagi Yojimbo has been consistently running since 1984. It's won many awards, it's highly acclaimed by critics, it has a cult following of supporters. Usagi even has a rich history of crossovers with characters like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, both in comics and in television series. Still, Usagi Yojimbo has never quite reached the same level of popularity as the Turtles, not even close, really. Usagi's been on my radar for many years, but I'd never actually read any of the Usagi Yojimbo comics until I picked up this book recently. This is the Dark Horse Comics Usagi Yojimbo Saga Volume 1. If you've read or are familiar with Vagabond, or if you know anything about Miyamoto Musashi, maybe you prefer history to manga, Usagi Yojimbo is basically Musashi if he were a rabbit. That's the whole shtick. Usagi is a super awesome samurai rabbit character who's at the center of most but not all of these stories. He's based on Miyamoto Musashi, which I didn't know until I started reading it. It's actually really cool to be reading this and Vagabond at the same time because it's just two kind of different interpretations of that character. But I mean, Usagi's his own character, but he's clearly based off of Miyamoto Musashi. But basically, it's just him on his Ronin pilgrimage wandering around Japan, honing his skills and his mind and upholding his honor and all, the Ronin stuff. But Usagi has all of the characteristics of a samurai character. I mean, he's very skilled, he's wise, he cares a lot about his honor, but he's very reasonable as well. I find that that's one of the things I like most about this story, is that almost every decision that Usagi makes, I either agree with, or I see that it's more reasonable than whatever course of action I thought he should have taken, And he's not the only character by any means. There's such a rich cast of characters in this series that are used so skillfully. Like a character will come up, it'll be a bounty hunter or something that he'll run into early on. And then a couple stories later, they'll run into each other again and then, it's just like the world just constantly expands and all these characters come back and are important and they have their own personalities and their own histories, and it's just so good. It's so good. The setting is feudal Japan. The story takes place in the Edo era, so it's a big part of the plot that Ronins are all out of work, essentially. And so a lot of them do bad things because they have to make a living. Some of them do what Usagi does and they go on this pilgrimage, basically, trying to hone their skills and their minds. And the world, it's a perfect setting for the type of story that Stan Sakai wants to tell, because it gives Usagi a reason to be wandering basically from end to end of Japan, and it gives him, since he keeps moving like that, there's so many opportunities to have new stories and meet new characters and just continually expand the world, which is so satisfying to read. The vibes are just excellent. I mean, if you've read Vagabond, it's similar, despite the fact that every character in the book is an animal, basically. I mean, it's just like Usagi will be cutting people down 1 second, and then the next second he's like standing on top of a mountain under a tree, sniffing a flower, watching the sunset. Like, the vibes are so fire. It's so good. And Stan Sakai does an excellent job of really focusing on that mellow tone. Usagi has such a respect for music, for nature, for just relaxing and enjoying where you are in life. And it makes some of the characters that he meets that are less violent some of my favorite interactions. Basically, moral of the story is the vibes are just immaculate. The artwork is super unique. Artwork is like a really crisp, solid, it's like a crisp, solid black and white with thick outlines and like kind of soft, wavy backgrounds that I find to be super pleasing most of the time. The only problem I have every once in a while is that some of the background characters, like, that will appear within one story, basically will look similar to other characters that are more important, and I get confused sometimes. But that's just because it's my first Usagi Yojimbo, probably. But what really, really knocks it out of the park for me is the quality of the stories. Like, these stories... How do I explain this? What puts it right next to Hellboy for me is that the stories that are told in this book are not like, just what can I have the rabbit do as entertainment. It's like Usagi is just a vessel for us to experience the story and for it to connect to future stories, but the story itself can always hold its own weight like crazy. Like the plots in each individual issue are stories that feel like timeless, like the kind of story that I'll be thinking about for years and years, and I'll remember 2 decades from now. Like, they're just so well conceived of and so palatable. I don't know. It's just a different level of storytelling that you see so rarely in comics. And I feel like that's why Hellboy is probably my favorite comic book, because I feel like A, Mike Mignola is the GOAT and the art is unbelievable, but B, the stories are just so next level. And I think Usagi Yojimbo is the only other comic book that I can think of that I've read where I was like, that's as good as Hellboy in that way. Like, the stories are so good. Like, oh my god, okay. In this book in particular, the run from Slavers to Daisho Part 1 to Mongrels to Daisho Part 2, that little saga there, absolutely mind-blowing. Like, that could be the greatest movie of all time, if done right. And they could even do it, that's the thing about Usagi Yojimbo as well, is that all of the characters are animals, but none of them have to be. Like, it's not a part of their personality or anything, it's just that was kind of the thing in the 80s as they were trying making anthropomorphic characters. So everyone's just an animal, but you could super easily cast this as a live-action movie and just disregard the animal aspect of it altogether, and it would be basically no different. Like, it would be just as good, and nothing really would have to change. So that's one way you could do it. I mean, a lot of these read like Kurosawa movies already. The other way you could do it is animation, obviously. And I do think that if we could get like some next level animation, like something breaking the barrier in the way that like Spider-Verse did with the core of an Usagi Yojimbo story, that could be bar none the greatest movie of all time, for sure. And I think that's probably my number one pitch, is that run I just mentioned, but almost any chunk of this book you could say the same about. It's so good. Like, all the stories are so good. There wasn't one story where I wasn't like, It's like, by the end of it, I was just dying to pick up the next one, so I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But, oh my god. Anyways, that's my little Usagi Yojimbo. Just blew my socks off. I absolutely loved it, and I had to talk about it. But it leads me to wonder why it's so underrated, Because, I mean, I know people respect it, I know people love it, but most people don't even know what it is, you know? It's like, it's crazy how something like the TMNT, which is so similar, I mean, it also takes some reference from Japanese culture, and it also uses anthropomorphic animals, and it came out like a couple months before Usagi Yojimbo, and it's just so much more popular. I wonder, I mean, obviously it must have to do with the deals they got, like the merchandising, the television series, the movies, etc., because that just continuously spreads it to more people. But it makes me wonder, you know, because I mean, I really feel like there's not better comic books out there than this, you know? And I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, don't get me wrong, but right now I'm on Usagi Yojimbo, and I'm just like, I can't believe that people don't have this in their hands, that people haven't read this, that I hadn't read this until recently. Like, it's ridiculous. So, if you like comic books, or if you like manga, or if you like history, or if you like anything, I highly, highly recommend checking out Usagi Yojimbo. Stan Sakai, I don't know how he does it. It's incredible. I cannot wait to pick up the next book. So what do you think? Have you read Usagi Yojimbo? If so, definitely drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the series. What your favorite story is, maybe. If you haven't read it, does it sound interesting to you? I mean, it is. So if it doesn't, I failed to convey that properly. But and what's your other takes on most underrated comic books? Because I need to be picking them up. Apparently, I don't know them all, and if there's more like this out there that I haven't been reading, please tell me. That's all I got for right now. Just really had to talk about it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for listening. Hope you drop a comment or something. I'd love to have a conversation about it if you're a fan of the series. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Have an excellent day, and as always, don't forget what Goku says.